Jeff Big Daddy Wayne here for a very solemn video about a very great man. When I was a young man, first in Los Angeles, I would faithfully buy the Los Angeles Times every Saturday. The Sunday version came out on Saturday. It was my first introductions to Los Angeles, that the Sunday paper would come up on Saturday. They obviously knew the news before it was going to happen. I'm a man that likes to stay on top of things. They had a beautiful literary supplement. This was before you would open the paper and tons of ads would fall out, and advertisements, ads, pieces of paper, things I don't even know what they were. But the literary supplement was very good. And one day I read about a Japanese author called Yukio Mishima. I was intrigued. Mishima had written a book. There was a movie called The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, from the Sea. And I had seen that film and I thought it was very good. And I started finding out about Mishima. I started buying books about Mishima. And Yukio Mishima has been translated into many languages. These are just a few of my books by Mishima. As you can see, I was a real fan. Now, Yukio Mishima was obsessed with ritual suicide. Japanese ritual suicide, Seppuku, where you kneel, you open the towel, and there's a sharp blade that you're going to thrust into your stomach. Now, Mishima was obsessed with this, and in almost every book, every play, he even did movies. Seppuku, seppuku, seppuku. Paul Schrader, who did Affliction, Working Class Hero, Hardcore, you may know the filmmaker Paul Schrader, made a beautiful film about Mishima. Never was I so rewarded in literature until I read his book. The 4 books that are contained as The Sea of Fertility made such an impression on me. Spring Snow, Runaway Horses, I forget the name of the 3rd book. But the 4th one was The Decay of the Angel. Seppuku is in every book. Anyway, he made such an impression on me. I found him such a hero. Yukio Mishima was completely insane, ladies and gentlemen. He became a right-wing fanatic and had a little army, and one day went over to take over an army base, and he had decided, if they go with me, I live. If they go against me, I will perform seppuku. Now, he had several, how shall we say it, devoted members of his little army. And they joined him. They tried to take over the base. Unfortunately, when he went to speak to the soldiers who knew who he was, they laughed at him. They threw things. They called him names. He realized it was a failure. He went into the room where they had tied up several of the military men there, generals, etc., so forth, to perform seppuku. His trusted lieutenant was to cut his head off. When you put the knife in and draw it across, then your head is cut off, which is to save you the pain of what you're going to go through. Mishima knelt. He opened up the ceremonial cloth containing the ritual suicide knife, lifted it, plunged it into his abdomen. A spasm started his right hand to shake. He couldn't move the hand. He took his left hand, moving it across his stomach so his entrails came out. His trusted young lieutenant must have been unnerved a bit by this, because when he went to cut off Mishima's head with a razor-sharp sword, he missed, and it took a few hacks to get the head off. By agreement, his lieutenant then knelt to perform seppuku, which he did, and unfortunately for him, his friend that was to cut his head off was right on the mark. By that time, an older, and sometimes older people were wise, the older general they had tied up said, "Stop! Stop this madness!" His other devoted followers thought, maybe we've gone a little too far. Life magazine at the time, a week later, had pictures of the horror, and it was a credible ending for a man who was once rumored by everybody to be nominated for a Nobel Prize for literature. He was that popular at his time. His movies, his books, They've been translated into many languages, and in fact, there's the real Mishima. This photograph taken exactly about a half hour before he slipped into eternity, or what he liked to call the void, or as we would call now, a safe zone. This is where no one bothers you, no one challenges you. It's complete tranquility. It is nothingness, because it is the void. Now, some friends have questioned my love of Mishima as being sick, disgusting, perhaps even bordering on madness. I could only say to them, people have bought his books by the millions. They watch his movies, his plays. Isn't Paul Schrader insane to like such a man? I will admit that my fascination with him goes a bit too far. Perhaps too far, as I'm about to demonstrate on this video today. Do you think a butter knife will work? Subscribe to Big Daddy Knows and find out.